The song that is playing right now is called Beginning the Hunt, or at least it translates to that. It played on the title screen of Monster Hunter 2 DOS. Notice the distinct lack of the classical light orchestra present in all of Monster Hunter's first generation of music. This series has me exploring the evolution of the music in Monster Hunter. If you haven't seen part 1, please watch that first. Thank you. Generation 2 of Monster Hunter was a complete musical overhaul, and this led it to become the most important soundtrack of the series, at least in my opinion. This generation consists of Monster Hunter 2 DOS, Monster Hunter Portable 2nd, and its expansion, Monster Hunter Portable 2nd G. For the sake of this video though, I'll make it easier by just lumping the portable entries together as just the localized name Freedom Unite. So when I say Freedom Unite, I mean both those games, but most likely just Portable 2nd G. Most of the fans of the series have not played Monster Hunter 2 DOS, because it was a Japanese exclusive. Actually, most fans probably don't understand what I mean when I say a complete musical overhaul, because their only experience of Generation 2 was Freedom Unite, which was kind of drastically different from Monster Hunter 2 DOS. What if I told you that the main series theme, Proof of a Hero, is almost never heard in Monster Hunter DOS? They completely ditched the main theme of the series. Actually, the only time you hear it is for a very brief moment in a credits song. I'll play it for you. Crazy, right? The musicians behind Monster Hunter 2 are listed as, again, I won't read them out because I'll butcher their names, but that's a lot. You'll notice that only one of them has returned from first generation, while the other 4 are new. Though, this isn't surprising, the soundtrack is so far completely different, and that kind of speaks for itself. That medieval bardic tone in Monster Hunter 1 is completely gone, and in its place it's more of an exotic and ancient rhythm of flutes and a superb variety of percussion. This is Monster Hunter, as we know it. Generation 3 and 4 kind of have the same feeling, and it's all thanks to Monster Hunter 2 for kind of defining that. The intense creativity of these songs illustrate that Monster Hunter is different than other fantasy games about slaying dragons. There's a more ethnic and cultured feeling to it. It's ancient more than ever. With brand new locations, new music was created for the new environments. New world-changing features such as day and night cycles and changing seasons that affect which quests are available when. The new village and town now have multiple revolving musical themes that shift depending on the environment. Bringing back my triangle, almost all the songs from second generation have lost a lot of the element of fear, and gain of more of the feeling of time, way more. In my opinion, it actually helps the music. It gives it a bit more depth than just be scared. Furthermore, the soundtrack included this new thing called vocals. The songstress, who was prominently featured in Monster Hunter 2 and then returned in Monster Hunter 4G, but sometimes you can see her in cutscenes. It's this NPC. Anytime you hear that iconic female Monster Hunter voice vocal lady, it's supposed to be this one woman. Now, I don't want to make it seem like the classic orchestra is completely gone. It's just used at the right moments to make it pop more. I will go on record in saying that I believe that this is superior to Proof of a Hero. It's far more heroic and whimsical, and it's structurally, the melody flows a lot better. Now, to get a point across, I have to do some math real quick. Not including monster intros, Generation 1 had approximately 42 songs, that includes Monster Hunter Portable. Meanwhile, Generation 2 has approximately 106 songs, nearly double. These numbers baffle me. 106? Was there really that many songs in Freedom Unite? The truth is, there wasn't. Nearly all of Monster Hunter DOS's soundtrack is basically missing in the portable entries. Of the 106 total, only 14 are brand new for Freedom Unite. The remaining 92 songs were made specifically for DOS, and of those 92, only 34 returned in Freedom Unite. Sorry for all the math. My point is, 58 pieces of music have never been heard by the Western fans of the series, and that's a darn shame, especially since, like I said, this generation is so important in setting up what the music for Monster Hunter would eventually become. But Freedom Unite decided to go back to the old aesthetics, and the main theme was back to the Proof of a Hero. Now this becomes a running trend in the later generations, but to summarize, the main series team and the portable team kind of have differing opinions on what they consider to be the soundtrack of Monster Hunter. Now this video has already gone on for way too long, so I need to crank out my thoughts on the battle themes as quickly as possible. It was in Generation 2 that they decided to give some individual monsters musical themes of their own, instead of having them rely on whatever map they're in dictating the battle theme. Elder dragons such as Kashela Deora and Tuestra got their own musical themes, as well as flagship monsters like Tigrex and Nargacuga. Usually, these songs become more widely enjoyed by fans. They become fan favorites because they focus more on a specific voice, aside from being just a vague battle music for a forest or a volcano or what have you. Now, the next part's gonna get confusing because they kept changing the goddamn battle music of the maps, and I have to talk about that. So, here's the Snowy Mountains battle music. This is what it sounds like in Monster Hunter 2 DOS. However, for some reason in Freedom Unite, they use the battle music from Monster Hunter Frontier, which sounds like this instead. And to make it even more confusing, for the Western release of Freedom Unite, they changed the Snowy Mountains theme again to an arena battle theme instead, which sounds like this. The Frontier music I understand. Freedom Unite featured other Frontier exclusive content, but why did they change it to arena battle music and only in the American release? Speaking of arena battle music, the main one used in Generation 2, playing now, has a certain beat that might sound familiar. Listen closely. Now listen what happens when I fade that song into another song. Yeah, it uses the exact same percussion loop as the Tigrex theme. It's funny hearing composers steal each other's beats. The final subject I'm going to cover here is this use of sample loops, because sometimes when people make video game music, they cheap out and they use a stock musical loop for a beat or maybe for a specific instrument. I'm a bit mean by saying cheap out, because I mean, a lot of people do it, but I do believe that making your own beat is better. I'll let you listen to a couple Generation 2 songs, and while I play them, I'll transition them into another song I've come across in other video games that use the exact same samples. I'll only name the Monster Hunter songs so you can have fun guessing what the other songs are. Here's the Tigrex theme again. Here's the DOS Desert Battle theme. And here's the Chameleos theme. And I'm sure that there are many more examples out there, but the final one I'll show off is considered controversial. Here's the Frontier, the one in Freedom Unite, whatever, the jungle battle music. Hear that chant? This is a sample from an actual Muslim prayer. It's always been uncomfortable for me that a religious prayer is in this fantasy battle music about killing dragons. And actually, in their culture, it is considered wrong to play music during a Muslim prayer. This chant has been used in many different video games. This is not new. All the way as recently as a song in Capcom's recent Street Fighter V, and almost every time, the songs are changed or removed when they realize they've created something considered offensive. Japanese game developers almost never really think about the fact that what they're making could be offensive. They only do what they think is cool, and sometimes that can be pretty bad. This song in question has returned recently in Generations Ultimate, and while no one's gotten offended, it's weird to see Capcom still making this mistake.